I've got to crack open the life support rose.
I think we've started. I think we've started.
We started a couple of minutes ago.
I
started as soon as the bottle got open. That was it. Welcome to the Fully Charged podcast. Before we head into the show, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review on wherever you subscribe to this podcast.
Thank you again to all our supporters on Patreon. And if you want to have a look at supporting us too, it is very much appreciated.
Without your support, we wouldn't be able to waffle on and talk about nothing or some stuff about EVs and sustainability.
Let's get on with this episode. Welcome to Fully Charged Podcast with myself and the lovely Mr. Jonny Smith.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. We've been here. We're having a little relaxing. We're recording this on a Friday evening on the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere.
Summer solstice, yeah.
Summer solstice, yeah.
Sun's rain.
Apparently, from what I've heard on the rumour mill, which was actually a parchment letter that was delivered, Faraday Past are actually playing tonight in just outside Frome.
Oh, well, of course, for such a special occasion, they've pushed all of their differences to one side.
Yeah.
Temporarily, haven't they?
Yeah.
I hear that they even managed to borrow the original big top that they used. What was their sort of seminal homecoming gig, which was around, was it 76 or
about 76 when they said they'd split up, but they got back together in the summer of 76. Got the big top. It
was massive. I mean,
huge.
Michael Eavis tried to book them, and they said, "I'm afraid that's out of the question. We've got a big top in a field in Frome, which is actually not that far away from Glastonbury."
It's not far. They could have gone.
But needless to say, the gigs clash. Well, have we ever actually explained it on a podcast what we are?
We probably haven't
going on about.
So we should mention that we were doing a news episode about 2 years ago. We're talking about Faraday Future, the electric car company. That have been about to start for the last 2 years, and I don't think they quite have yet still. And they're going to be massive, and we thought it was a good name, and then I think there was some joke that came out of it. I can't quite remember how it developed.
I think it was because it was generally regarded that things were going sour.
Yeah.
And we were making a cheap joke at
we were making a cheap joke at the expense of some very, very skilled engineers who have developed, obviously a very impressive electric vehicle, but it hasn't quite made it to market yet. And the fact that they've used the name of an old British scientist, Michael Faraday, as opposed to a Croatian scientist, Nikola Tesla. But there's obviously those references, isn't there? That's like, they've used a name of an olden day scientist. Let's do that. Not overly original.
Not overly original, and also, I think it was around that time we'd had a discussion before on Fully Charged News about your background of folk appreciation.
Well, no, I want to be specific. Folk rock fusion appreciation.
Oh, sorry, folk rock.
Yeah, don't
fusion. And as a result, we were like, I think it just felt right as a name for a completely fictitious folk band that might have had quite an illustrious, likened only to Fleetwood Mac.
Mac, or
it was they were like the Fleetwood Mac of the pure folk world.
And they wore tabards. And just to explain what a tabard is, it's a a tabard is a piece of cloth with a hole in it. It's not totally unlike a poncho. It's like a petite poncho.
Yeah, like a toga, almost like a toga. A folky toga.
A folk
that sounds
toga.
Like an insult from Essex way. Get out of it, you folky toga.
You folky toga. Oh dear. This is not. God. This, I just want, before you throw your listening device across the room, we are going to actually talk about some
got news.
Real stuff, because there is stuff. I mean, this is what I want to say. I actually wrote this down because I didn't know how to cope with it all. I wrote, Jonny, I'm overloaded. There's so much electric car news. It's like I've gone down the chippy, asked for a cod in batter, and they give me a North Sea trawler with a crew and 600 tons of fish. I can't cope with the amount of stuff that's going on. The amount. I mean, even today, you sent me about 3 emails about, can we go to this launch? Can we go to that? It's off the scale. It's off the scale. It is unbelievable, isn't it? What's going on?
I mean, it's exciting.
It is.
It's just there's just a relentless wave after wave of electric related news.
I mean, the fact that
car news is busy.
It is. But one of the, just a little observation, when I drove into London earlier this week, those big new video poster sites, the massive screens.
Yeah.
It was all electric cars. It was Uber will be fully electric in London by 2025. That was one of the things.
Really?
All its cars. That's what they said. There was an advert.
Doesn't even make money yet.
No.
I don't understand Uber at all.
No, you can't. Look, we're successfully running a business that's losing money in the tradition of Uber.
Yeah.
So we're doing the right thing.
What we do what we do is definitely ethical.
It's so ethical. I'd say it was ethical it defines ethical. But I mean, no, it is. But and I can't remember. There were about 3 other. As I was driving in an electric car, all I saw were adverts for either an electric car, or this is going to happen, or all London buses will be electric by all that stuff. I interviewed the mayor of London, who's extremely popular with President Trump, Sadiq Khan, who was very. I mean, what he said is it's like the introduction to an episode of Fully Charged, whether they'll actually do it or not. 100% electric buses, 100% electric taxis, 100% electric delivery vehicles that was the red wine, in central London by 2025. And when they're saying they're going the whole hog, they're putting in thousands of new charge points in central London.
That's like 5.5 years.
Yeah.
It's not that long.
It's really soon. It's really soon.
Yeah, and there's significant change in infrastructure. I mean,
They gave me a map which had where the rapid chargers they're authorising are going in, and about half of them are taxi only. They won't they won't be on the street. They'll be in like car parks of hotels, taxi ranks and things like that. They're putting in rapid because that's the we've talked about this before, but all the guys there's now 1,800 of those taxis that we tested, the LVEC. LEVC, London Electric Vehicle Company. There's 1,800 of those taxis on the road now, because I've been in 4 now.
They're brilliant.
All the drivers love them, and all but one moaned about there's nowhere to charge, or there's not enough places to charge. One of them said there is, people just can't be bothered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but because he says I charge all the time. He said I barely use any petrol at all.
Wow. He's thought this through, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's worked it out. But anyway, so that was remarkable.
Well, the car news is just out of control, really.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I mean, the list I wrote is random, but I mean, because what about the new Renault Zoe? Because I haven't kept up with that, and I have hundreds of emails about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've seen the new Zoe, and it's broken cover now since I've seen it. And there's a fully charged video in the cooker now.
In the cooker,
cooking, baking.
Yeah.
But the new, they've done a facelift in the literal sense. The face has changed, and it's slightly more aggressive, but still I think a very pleasant, classy looking thing.
Right.
It's got a new nose
I saw that
charger, which has got CCS and up 50 kilowatt charge. Some people are saying 50 is not fast enough for a car that's just about to come out. Well, I get that, but the price point of a Zoe is really low. I mean, it starts. They think it's going to start at about 22k.
Wow.
So it's a very affordable. It's 52 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Wow.
So 236 miles WLTP. So in the real world, well over 200 miles, I would say.
Which is I think that's the golden nugget. No, that's not the right thing, but it just means it's just a car. Then you don't even think about it.
And
but, is it not bigger then? It's not a bigger? It's the same basic. I mean, like the wheelbase is the same and all that stuff.
The shell is the same. The side profile is the same. The back end, apart from the revised light clusters, and lights are now LED all round, inside and outside.
Right.
But the car's the same.
Yeah.
But the biggest lift, apart from its face, is actually the tech lift the dash, the cabin is very different.
Right. Oh,
what was good is we had Craig from the Zoe Owners Club at the unveiling of the car in Paris.
Right.
And because he's somebody that obviously lives and breathes Zoes,
yeah,
we've downloaded his mind and his opinions on the new car. But I mean, he thought the interior was a vast improvement.
Right.
Because you forget, the original Zoe came out in 2012.
Yes, it was only it was like months after the Leaf.
Yeah, months after. And I remember driving one in 2012, and you're like, crumbs, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
And it was it September?
Can't remember when I
September
first saw it.
2012.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it's obviously climbed in terms of power. And February 2018, you had the R110 motor, and then the 40 kilowatt battery in 2016. But yeah, so this is really interesting use of fabrics inside. You'll see it.
Right.
There's some very cool fabrics that I would highly recommend ordering rather than the boring leather.
Right.
And the tech inside, they're definitely following Tesla with the portrait larger screen.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
but with some tactile buttons still for things like heating and your HVAC, as people call it.
Yeah. I have to say, I quite like a tactile button.
I like a tactile button for the stuff you get in and immediately need.
For
like
the heat, for defrost is so much quicker.
I don't want that in a menu.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a pain.
That
I do agree with you.
Bum.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's looking promising. It's and I mean I thought it was very, very cool. I just hope it drives quite well. It's going to be 136 PS of power, so it basically goes further, it goes faster, it's quicker. And it's no more expensive. They haven't promised that, but they've sort of hinted it won't be any more expensive.
Well, and it will charge a little bit faster because the old DC connector was 43 kilowatts or something.
Yeah. So it charges quicker, and the tech inside is just much much more luxurious. The inside feels much more special.
Right.
So and they're kind of promising that there won't be a waiting list, which is quite critical in a world where a lot of EVs have got waiting lists.
Yeah, if you can go into a Renault showroom and say, I want this Renault Zoe, and you get it the week after or something, that is at the moment that is a massive plus.
It's massive. I love the fact that they're calling it the ZE50. They're actually doing themselves a disservice because it's 52 kilowatt hours. But they're calling it the ZE50. I thought it's very polite of them.
Yeah.
Very polite.
But talking of that charging stuff, just while I remember it, because I've just driven to Eindhoven and back in a Hyundai Kona.
Yeah, for sure.
Which was, as you know, having done that before, that sort of, I remember when we drove over in the Kona, the Leaf and the I-Pace.
Yeah.
The anxiety of getting from Folkestone to wherever to the first Fastned charger, it was kind of a bit of a struggle. Not for the Kona, but for the I-Pace and the. I drove from the Maidstone charger, which has just been put in. It wasn't there when we did that trip last time, which is 350 kilowatt. Now I've got to find the photograph now to remember the make of the chargers. Where
wasn't it one of our Bannatyne Jim's favourite?
No. This is at a Motorway Services Ionity chargers. Okay. 350 kilowatt. There's four of them in a garage at Motorway Services that has an Ecotricity charger by the services. Okay. They've just put them in. Anyway, plugged in there on whoopee woo. Plugged in the Kona. And I always thought it's a 50 kilo. When we were charging it on Fastned, it was 50, wasn't it? I don't remember it being more than 50.
I'm sure it was 50. I'm sure it was 50. Yeah.
It was definitely doing 72 kilo. I mean, it really pumped it up. Anyway, charged it at Maidstone, drove to Eindhoven, didn't charge it.
You didn't need to stop and charge. So you've gone through France completely.
Through France, through the whole of Belgium, and then quite a big chunk of the Netherlands. It was about 292 miles.
Crumbs.
And we had loads left. I mean, we had another 85 miles. That car is insane. Well, that's what it was saying. What it said when it was full was 386 miles. I took a picture because I went, this is just insane.
So, what are you saying? The Koreans have played it down?
Sorry, yeah, no, 308. It would never do it, but it said 389 miles at 100%. I've only charged it 100% once before. When you don't do it. I wouldn't normally do it, but because it was a longer trip.
And what, in the real world, over 300?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well over 300. 320, 325, I think. On motorways. Right. I mean, the weather was perfect for that. It wasn't windy. It wasn't raining when we were driving there.
Relatively flat.
Flat. So, in those circumstances, it's all in your favour. It was quite warm.
Can someone out there just hurry up and, just have a mild crash in an e-Niro or a Kona? I'm desperate to buy the drivetrain out of one of those.
Yeah,
I desperately want that pack and I want that motor.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's brilliant.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. So
I can't, I've got my eye on a Soul because that's the same drivetrain, obviously.
Yeah.
I've got my eye on it.
I mean, it is such a good car. I mean, there's a lot of things aesthetically that I'm not bothered. I mean, luckily I don't have any taste, so I'd get in anything. I don't think people look at me when I get out of a car.
Do you drive it wearing a fleece gilet? I'm asking for a friend.
Fleece. I normally drive it in Birkenstocks with because I'm an eccentric, colourful socks.
Oh, of course. But the fleece gilet is usually reserved only for gardening. But you're in a bit of a rush and you totally forgot you've still got it on. It's got a sort of a few leaves and thorns in it.
It's a little bit. I've had to patch it from when it's got ripped by brambles.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, it was. I mean, it was really impressive. And then we can't talk about the car because people could listen to this on Monday. Yeah. So on Tuesday morning. So if you're listening to this on Monday night, on Tuesday morning there will be an announcement from a very interesting electric vehicle development in the Netherlands, which we saw. We were the first people to see it ever. Outside the team that built it, and I had a ride in it.
That's why you drove over there.
And that's why we drove over there to see that. It was. I mean, they're an amazing group of people, but I can't talk about that now because it's all under embargo. It's very exciting.
If you can't talk about it, let's go from that and we've already mentioned the Zoe. Let's go to the Zoe's slightly older brother, the Leaf.
I think cousin.
The cousin. The Leaf E Plus has dropped, as the kids would say.
Yeah.
So this is the Leaf E Plus is now it's the pinnacle of leafdom.
I think so.
Featuring 217 PS of bang and up to 239 miles of range with a
62 kilowatt hour
battery pack. I mean,
in the same car, same size car. That when it came out had a 24 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah. So this is the proper Halo range topping Leaf.
Yeah.
Starts at 35,800 quid when you include the Gov grant.
So still it's more than it's a lot more than a Zoe then, isn't it? I hadn't sort of realised that was...
I mean that's 35, 36. It's 39 grand for this absolute, everything on it, 62 kilowatt. So 55% more capacity, approximately 25% improvement in energy density, whilst retaining the same shape and size as the 40 kilowatt hour Leaf battery pack, apparently.
What's interesting, it's still CHAdeMO.
Yeah,
which is only interesting from the point of view of that Ionity charger that I stopped at outside Maidstone. Yeah. That's only got each of the boxes has only got one hose and it's all CCS. There's no CHAdeMO.
Am I right in thinking you can get an adapter? Can you?
I mean, I have a CHAdeMO to Tesla adapter, so maybe you can. A CHAdeMO to CCS. Ooh.
There are companies like EV Cables, so I suppose if you could get one, it's not so much of an issue. You'd simply if CHAdeMO does die away, then you'll need to keep one of those squirreled away, won't you? But retains the same shape and size to the 40 kilowatt hour Leaf battery pack, all without compromising the vehicle's exterior design and interior space, other than a 5mm increase in the car's overall height. So they've based upon the 16-inch wheels. Okay. So they've put the more eco wheels and tyre combo on it. Right. But 239 miles WLTP, 340 newton meters. 217 PS. more powerful motor, acceleration from 50 to 75 miles an hour is 13% quicker.
Because they were never sluggish cars.
No.
They're always a bit nippy.
Mark's still got his, and he still really enjoys it. The 98%, 98 mile an hour top speed.
Yeah, one of the things I like that they've said, which is that difficult thing when people, which is, I'm not criticising the question, but it's because it's so dependent. How long does it take to charge? But they've actually done the 50 kilowatt rapid charging, 20% to 80%, takes 90 minutes. So it's actually quite a long time. But of course, it's a much bigger battery. I mean, I've never.
But it's a bigger battery, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my old Leaf, I'd never plugged that in for 90 minutes on a rapid charger because, it would be full by then.
Exactly.
So it's quite interesting that but I mean, I quite like the fact that they've been, because everyone always says, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And basically 30 minutes adds, 100, 120, 130 miles.
Quite a lot. A lot. The battery pack modules composed of 8 laminated structure cells. The new Leaf E Plus uses a new battery module design that allows for cell modules to vary in number. The new battery module uses an innovative laser welding technique on the cell joints to reduce the overall length of the module. At the same time, by changing the number of lamination layers of the cell, an optimal module height that matches the shape of the vehicle can be achieved.
Wow.
Well, the big question is really, would you have one over your Kona, Robert?
Because
I think I know the answer.
I don't think I would now.
Apart from the boot space, the Leaf is supreme when it comes to boot space.
That is true.
It's an absolute TARDIS in the arse of that car.
Yeah. No, the boot space in the Kona is there's only one way to describe it. It's petite.
Yeah.
It is not big, because we had a load of camera kit and our bags and everything, because there's 3 of us in the car.
Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah,
compared to the Leaf,
you could not have done 4 people in the kit in that car.
No,
it was good. The back seat was just covered in boxes and bags. It was no, it's tiny. It's tiny.
Yeah.
The boot is very small. But apart from that, I actually prefer it. There is something, and I know it's annoying because I always criticise SUVs, but there is something annoying about that higher position that you're sitting in. You feel like you're sitting upright in a comfy chair.
Are you lauding it up?
You're not lauding it. You're middling. You're a middle class. You're a member of the petite bourgeoisie when you drive that car. You're not like up really high like a posh pillock.
I've just realised the WLTP of the E Plus Leaf is almost the same as the new Zoe.
As the Zoe, and it's
with
10 grand more plus.
Yeah, but with 10 kilowatt hours more.
Yeah.
In battery pack size. I mean, it's quick, 6.9 seconds to 62, but it's almost making me think that the Zoe's going to be the one to go for.
Well, I mean, actually, if I was going to buy a smaller, at the moment, the smaller car that I would go for, not having driven the Honda E or the new, the new. But
the Honda E is going to be nowhere near these.
No, it's not going to have the range, is it? No.
So it depends whether you care about range. It's range versus style, sadly.
Yeah.
It's a big debate.
Yeah, it is. It'll go on.
It's a debate over wine.
What I'm interested in is if the all new, this is very encouraging, Nissan Connect Services app comes as well with the new Leaf versions, because the app that I used for when I was very excited about my Leaf in 2011, there was an app called Nissan Car Wings.
Yeah, that's very Japanese. Yeah.
It
was never. It grim?
No, it never did anything. It worked when I was with them and I set it up with them. It sort of worked. You could sort of see how charged it was. But
those were the early days of apps.
Yeah, it was really early, and it just never did. I never used it again. I mean, I tried to use it here at home, absolutely hopeless. Never got anything out of it. And that's what's annoying with that stuff is, because the Tesla app I use all the time because it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so easy to use. It does my Powerwall and the car on the same app, and you just slide over and you can go, oh look, the car could get some charge, I'll put that on, or it's cold, I'll heat it. It's so easy. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I always know how much I can tell when I'm out of the country how sunny it is at home because I can see the solar. You know,
Oh,
that
stop
stuff.
it.
Why does that work so well with them? And it's so simple.
Well, because
The
they've
graphics are
developed
so
it
simple.
before putting it to market, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you know, I guess Nissan probably didn't so much.
No, I think it was another. I mean, the Kona. There's a good criticism. There is no app. At least they haven't made a rubbish one. They haven't made one at all. There is no app for it. And you do. It's a really useful. If you plug your car in, you go away and have a cup of coffee. You want to be able to check that it's all right and it's charging. You can't.
Yeah, I think it's almost a prerequisite now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the new Zoe has a great app, which
yes, the Zoe does have a good app.
it
Yes.
has a the next gen I've seen is fantastic.
Yeah.
Which will be subsequently retrofitted or usable on previous Zoes.
Yeah. Actually, there's another interest. Just before we move on from Leaf, to date, more than 400,000 Leafs have been sold globally since 2010 without a single accident caused by battery issues. I mean, I think it's quite an important point to make.
Seriously.
There's no, because there must have been. Well, we know there's been Leafs that have crashed. You know, people have crashed them, but they've never had a battery explode or burst into flames or anything like that. You know.
So basically, 500,000 cars, none of which have caught fire.
Yeah, which is a fairly good argument to say. I think they're probably because I think if you took 500,000 other Nissans, petrol ones and diesel ones, there would have been some fires because cars catch fire. Yeah, out of 500,000.
And I know some Teslas have caught fire in the past.
Teslas have caught fire. There was that terrifying footage, the one bursting into flames in an underground garage in China.
Yeah.
It's not terribly good. Yeah, and obviously in crashes they can do. Yeah.
Other Nissan news.
Yeah.
Electric ice cream van.
Yes, the electric ice cream. Now you haven't seen that, have you? But
I was hoping to see it this week, but logistics prevented me.
Yeah. It's a Scottish firm. What are they called that do their ice creams? I bought one of their ice creams. It's very nice.
Mackie's of Scotland.
Mackie's of Scotland. I've had a Mackie's ice cream. In Edinburgh.
Yeah, they're an ice cream producer. And they power their family-owned dairy farm by renewable wind and solar.
You can't.
Apparently,
there was a time in the past when you could have made the odd snide comment about our Scottish neighbours, but now I can't criticise them in any way. They are all beyond perfect.
They are. Yeah. This project demonstrates how a sky-to-scoop approach can remove carbon dependence at every stage of the ice cream. Now, you mentioned really recently about ice cream vans sitting there.
Well, yeah.
And
with diesel engines running. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a bit. It does sort of dampen the excitement of a 99 flake when you're queuing up having diesel particulates showered down on your feet.
Yeah.
And so what they've done is they've taken an ENV 200,
right?
Which is Nissan's 100% light commercial, with the old 40 kilowatt hour battery pack.
I think it is.
And they've adapted it, and they've added another battery pack to it.
Oh, to run the machinery.
Yeah,
clever.
Yeah, I think so. And brilliant. It's got the chiller on board and the soft scoop machine or whatever they call it, and the freezer drawer, the drinks fridge, all the stuff that you'd expect.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I think, and also, of course, they spend all their life sitting. They drive a short distance and then they sit at an event or at a car park all day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is going to become an actual production vehicle. It's got a 124 mile WLTP range, and the Nissan Energy Roam units have a combined storage of 1.4 kilowatt hours each and can power at up to 1 kilowatt. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this would work.
No, that's because you don't do a long run in an ice cream van.
You don't do a long run, no. But you've got to run all your equipment when you're sat there on a blazing hot day on Brighton seafront.
Yeah. Now the new Lotus, because that did jump out at me because I suppose because the original Tesla Roadster was sort of 30 or 40% Lotus, wasn't it? The very first
Well,
time.
it used Elon wisely used the tub and the basis of a Lotus Elise.
Yeah,
and that was a very, very wise idea because Lotus have got these lightweight, strong structures, and they know how to do suspension and They know how to do weight balance, and which is why they get used to make, they develop a lot of cars on the side.
Yes,
but the thing about Lotus is they haven't made an all new car for a long time.
Right.
They've made like special editions of existing ones, and it's all getting a bit boring. But come 16th of July,
which is soon, isn't
it? Which is very soon, even sooner when you listen to this, will be the new Lotus, which is apparently called the
Type 130.
Type 130.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all electric trickery.
Yeah.
And they haven't given us many details about it. I'm just clicking on this thing, which is not helpful.
Well, there's a picture of the charge port.
There's a picture of the charge port, and there's a picture of what looks like a silk curtain being dragged over a car whilst 18 people shine mag lights at it.
Yeah, or someone who's really good at blowing smoke rings, but can blow them to such an extravagant degree that they actually look like the side of a vehicle. Imagine if there was a guy standing on the left there.
Oh yeah,
and he just gone. And that's the shape he got from the smoke.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Was there a little fan behind him as he blew it out? Just a little one, little desk fan.
Yeah.
But it's, this is, I'm really looking forward to this. They're being scant on the details.
Yeah.
But it's, because it's Lotus, obviously it's going to be a sporty car.
Yeah.
And it's going to be lightweight. And it could be maybe the sort of spiritual successor to the original Tesla Roadster.
I've just been reading that though. It won't be cheap. So I'm just working out how many numbers that is. A likely 7-figure asking price, so over £100,000. Okay. No, over $1 million. A 7-figure. Wait a minute. That's how many numbers is there? Wait a minute.
6 zeros in £1 million. So
so it's over £1 million.
Over £1 million.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a lot.
I mean, it is an electric hypercar, and they're only making 130 of them. So it's a bit like Aston Martin in a way, isn't it? It's that kind of. But I mean, the Aston Martin isn't going to be £1 million, is it?
No. Oh no. I liken it to Ariel's Hypercar, which we haven't heard much about recently.
Right.
We first heard about the Ariel's a British car brand made in Somerset, actually.
Yeah.
Probably near Faraday Past's.
Well, there will be. Yeah. Old barn that they used to gig in.
That's right. Yeah. But back in 2017, Ariel, really, who make the Atom and the Nomad, these beautiful stripped out cars, they said they were going to build, or they released they were going to build up something called the Hypercar.
Right.
Which is spelled HIPER.
Oh, right.
CAR. And, 3.8 seconds to 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Seriously fast, 4 or 2-wheel drive, 1,327 pounds-feet of torque, and 1,100 horsepower, brake horsepower.
Wow. Okay.
But I haven't heard anything about this.
And that was going to be electric though. The Atom.
The Hypercar was going to be, or is going to be, pure electric.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's being made. And I know there were a couple of companies in the UK developing the high voltage side, so I think it will be an all British venture. But I want to know, that's what I liken it to. And again, that's going to be a very expensive car, but a very special car. Now, at Fully Charged Live, if anybody came, you would have been fortunate enough to have seen the Peugeot E208.
Yes, the E208,
which is a car which is coming from the PSA group, and Vauxhall, who recently became part of the PSA group. The Corsa E is based upon the same car, and that's coming out soon. We've got a Fully Charged video coming out of showing a walk around of that car. But the Peugeot this week have launched or revealed, shall I say, the 2008 SUV all electric.
Which I have test driven the diesel hybrid version of this car a long time ago.
I bet it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was, because in fact the guy from Peugeot that I drove it with was at Fully Charged Live. He had to remind, because I did recognise him. I'm good with faces, but not with names.
Yeah,
and,
I'm kind of like that.
Yeah, and he said you drove it was the 2008 hybrid or something, and I actually liked the look of that car. It's a sort of, again, a compact SUV, I suppose.
It is. It is. The 3008 is a prettier car, and the 5008 is the big daddy.
Yeah.
So the 2008, it's a high. Basically, it's more conery than Leaf E.
Yes, it is.
That's the
It's
way you
more
want
that
to look
scale,
at it.
isn't it?
But it'll
But I
have,
mean,
I'm pretty sure, the same underpinnings as the E208 and the
But the
DS3 crossback.
Yeah, but the E208 in the flesh, I mean, because you'd seen it before, I'd never seen it before. When I saw it at Fully Charged Live, I went, that is a nice looking motor.
It is a nice car.
Yeah.
Peugeot design it's very good at the moment. I've got to say, it feels desirable, and that's that's important for a lot of people.
Yeah, they were very crowded with it.
The E2008, as it's going to be called, 134 brake horsepower electric motor, a 50 kilowatt hour battery pack, 193 miles WLTP thing.
Right.
So it's a rival for the Kona in 39 kilowatt hour form, I would say. Which I've not driven yet. I've only driven the range topping one, like your 64.
Oh right, that we've got.
kilowatt hour.
Oh right. I don't know what the. Yeah, that's in. Actually, I'm intrigued now because the range on that is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know that it is really the first absolutely genuinely 300 mile plus electric car I've driven, where you drive 300 miles and you go, oh, we've done over 300 miles in it. I mean, I did.
I'm a bit jealous, Robert. I mean, you can keep going on about it. I'm a little bit about it.
I mean, for any car, any electric car that you charge it to 100% and it says 389 miles range, I mean, even though you know it's not quite real.
Yeah, but if it is a true 300, that means I could drive to Heathrow Airport and back and
easily
have 100 miles in the tank, as it were.
Yeah.
And that's special. That feels good.
And I actually hadn't driven it as economically as you. So my total on that journey was 933 miles with 3 charges.
Seriously,
we only rapid 3, but I got 4.4 miles to the kilowatt hour on that journey.
Bloody hell!
So I didn't get, because you got over. I mean, I often have got over 5 in that car, but not on this time, because we were hammering it as well, particularly on the way back. And we drove through those storms that hit. We were driving through.
Yeah, I phoned you on Bluetooth hands-free.
That's right. Yeah,
and it sounded like someone was throwing cricket balls at the windscreen.
Yeah. No, it was really, really proper heavy rain. Yeah,
it's impressive.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing car. What's the other one? Oh well, I suppose we should, because on the way back from Eindhoven, we dropped in at Tesla. Their distribution centre in West London near Heathrow's famous airport, and and we witnessed the first deliveries of Tesla Model 3 right-hand drives being delivered to their customers, and
that's big news.
We've already put an episode out about it, which has been very popular.
Yeah, it has,
because we tried to turn it round really quickly. So it's very, very. We shot it in. I think it was the fastest fully charged shoot I've ever done. I think it was 15 minutes. We shot the whole thing.
Did you really?
That included 2 interviews. we just did it in one take because we were in such a rush. You know, we were so tired. We just had to get back. I needed to get Stuart. Stuart needed his cup of tea and a biscuit. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure. I enjoyed looking at that because I enjoyed just looking at the dashboard of a right-hand drive Model 3. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, it was so nice. I mean, we should have done more. You know, filming. I just knew we would do it properly at some point. So it was a very rushed affair.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get one. We'll do something fun in it.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're really good. And I think the only ones that are in this country at the moment are the Performance Plus models. So it's people who've ordered that. And and for some reason, it's attracted a lot of attention on the YouTube comments. They only come with the white interior, which I think looks gorgeous in a showroom. Yeah. I just know that it would be a grey interior with coffee stains and you know, that would worry me.
I mean, just one little crumb of chocolate, and that you suddenly spill into your crotch, and then and then your bum rubs and it onto the seat, and then before you know it, it just looks like someone's just done something terrible on one of your passenger seats. It's just a mini cab nightmare. It's basically a mini cab nightmare.
I mean, it is an amazing car. I mean, it's hard not to love. Some people think it looks weird or the body isn't. I like all the criticisms. I love a bit of Tesla criticism. You wouldn't catch me dead in one of those. Rubbish.
Oh, I don't really like the front, but I think
the front is a bit weird.
The rest of it is incredible. I mean, even if you just liked it as a piece of engineering, it's
Yeah,
the engineering which is, and the same with all
absolutely
the
brilliant.
others, is what's
But also
pushed them on.
and the driving experience is just faultless. You get the visibility is really, really remarkable because it's a low, short bonnet.
Yeah.
So the one thing I felt very confident. The first time I drove it was I drove up to a barrier, a wall. What am I saying? A barrier. A wall is a fairly effective barrier to plug in the. A supercharger. I drove forward and then reversed into the supercharger bay, and there was a wall opposite, and I knew I could get to within about half an inch of that wall without bashing it because I could see where it was. You can sort of judge it. It's just really good visibility. There's no driver binnacle in the way. There's absolutely nothing in the way. It's just sort of like sitting next to a low windowsill window. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't got the language.
If they bring out an estate version,
yeah,
I'm listening.
But the amazing girl who builds rubbish robots on YouTube, I can't remember her name.
Oh yes,
but she's done it. She's turned hers into a pickup truck.
Yeah,
there's lots of videos on YouTube about it.
I was really impressed when I saw that. That's gone a long way because she's got that fantastic Sebring Vanguard, horrible wedge of cheese.
Oh yes,
electric
that's
car.
right. Yeah.
And I did message her and ask her if she puts a tow hitch on the back of a Model 3 Ute, and tow the Sebring Vanguard. In fact, we should ask her to come to Fully Charged.
Yeah, we should do.
USA,
yes, in America. Yeah,
because that would be great to have both of her cars there, and of obviously her.
Yes.
No, that'd be great. Now, look, before we go any further, this is a Fully Charged YouTube first.
Oh yeah.
Not YouTube, podcast first. I forget that we're not visual at the moment.
Yeah.
This is a competition, Robert.
Oh,
we've got a little competition.
Have we?
Yeah.
Do I know about it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had written it down, but you obviously not read it. There is a company out there in the UK, British company, British designer made, who make something which electric car users aren't familiar with. They make custom performance exhaust systems.
Oh, I did see that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a competition. I just looked at it and went, that looks like fun, but what the hell?
Well,
can you win one?
Well, they've agreed to give one away to
fantastic.
a lucky listener of Fully Charged / viewer.
Right.
And so what this is, they did launch a version of it a year or so ago. But it's a sound module called Active Sound, and it's and you can have it installed in any electric car.
Wow!
And it has an app, and you can choose between a multitude of different engines.
Wow!
So if you actually want your EV to sound like a cackling rally car, a 5-cylinder, a V8, a V10, a V12.
Wow!
You can, and it works with the CAN bus system, so that it the drive-by-wire accelerator it maps the RPM of the engine to your accelerator, and and there's a speaker which gets installed under the car, like a carbon fibre speaker.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of fun. At first I thought this just sounds daft, and I thought actually it could be quite fun.
I'd be very tempted to put. I mean, just to have to put one on a Tesla, because people wouldn't necessarily know a Kona was an electric car, but a Tesla, people kind of know that. And you drive past in a Tesla and it's going. It does that sort of throbbing big block V8 sound.
Yeah. Well, your really elderly Leaf, first gen Leaf. Should we? I want a V10 your Leaf.
That would be so cool, wouldn't it?
Should we V10 it?
Because what I would love is that you're sitting at traffic lights and nothing's going on at all. But
and it even has apparently this new version, when you come off the throttle, instead of it cutting the sound altogether, it actually pops and crackles on the overrun like a vicious. So I mean, they've really gone to town on this because they are experts in exhaust, so they've really thought this through.
So what is the competition then? How can people? We'll post a link to this company on the show
we're
notes,
posting to they're Miltek, MILLTEK Sport.com. That's their name, Miltek Sport. But what should we say, Robert? Should we say people need to email us through the new website?
Oh yes,
with Miltech active sound in the title.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
I guess we'll do a draw. I think that's the best way. So on the new,
we'll do a random draw. There's only one available because they are quite. And there's a great app on your phone, and you'll just think you're stuck on the M25. You're bored out of your mind. You've eaten any dirty chocolate bars you found in the door pockets, and you think, do you know what? I'm going to turn my Zoe into a 5-cylinder Group B rally car just for the shits and giggles of it. Why not?
It's a brilliant thing. So so you need to go to the new website, which is now at fullycharged.show.
Which is great. Very slick title. I like that.
And people have been raving about it. They say it's a really brilliant. I mean, it is a brilliant website. It's taken a hell of a long time. I think we were planning to launch it in February.
Oh yeah, we were. Yeah,
so we didn't quite manage that. Yeah, it was definitely it was dark. But at
fullycharged.show.
And then if you go to the contact page, there is a contact filling in form. And if you use Miltech Sport, just title your message Miltech Sport.
Yeah, Miltech Sport, and give your details, and we will at random we'll pluck a winner, and we will give that winner a Miltech Sport active sound synthesized exhaust system.
Yeah, for your electric vehicle.
So there you go. Look, that's the first time we've given anything away. This could be the start of something new.
It could be a massive thing. In a couple of years' time, we'll be going, you could win a Lotus Hypercar worth 1.6 million quid. We'll be giving away that. The one last story I think is worth covering, because there are loads of other car things, but we'll do them next week. Because we're seeing some more cars. The Honda E, I'm having a quick drive of this on Wednesday.
You rat.
But when I say quick, 20 minutes is all I'm being allocated. So, but I'm really, really excited to have a go in that. But there's this story that was in all the newspapers in the UK, BBC, everybody, which is Britain is now generating more electricity from zero carbon, from renewables, than from fossil fuels for the first time since the Industrial Revolution. I mean, it's quite a turning point.
That we've actually saved the biggest news story.
In a way, that is the biggest story, isn't it? I mean,
that's incredible,
extraordinary. So coal and gas. Yeah, I do. I think we should be very proud of it. Coal and gas now generate 46.7% of Britain's power network over a year, but zero carbon has pushed ahead to 47.9%.
Wow,
which is extraordinary. Because one of the things that's also been in the news recently is we did 2 weeks, over 2 weeks, with zero coal. So we still do have coal burning plants, but none of them were operating for over 2 weeks.
Wow.
And in 2009, so 10 years ago, 3/4 of the electricity, so 75.6%, came from fossil fuels. So that's how big the change is in that 10 years.
I wonder what it's going to be like in 3 years' time.
Yeah, because the stuff they're putting out at sea at the moment, the 8 and 10 megawatt wind turbines.
Yeah.
Is
it megawatt? Is it megawatt?
Megawatts.
Wow.
8 to 10 megawatts. So the biggest one, the 10 megawatt one, I remember when we flew over the ones in Burbo Bank, they were big then. Those are titchy now. So these are the ones with 108 metre long blades. Each blade's 108 metre long. So the diameter is more than 216 metres because of the nacelle.
I was hoping you'd
I worked that out.
Pause while your brain was working.
That was mental maths. And I think actually wine helps me with maths. I think I'm better.
It's a bit like me playing pool. I feel like I'm some kind of Paul Newman kind of character when I've had a couple of large ciders.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, I'm just a wavy, wobbly, sad man.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
It's a great way to finish a podcast, isn't it?
That is a good story, and there's a lot of other things. It's also about the cost because it's cheaper. I want that cost to be reflected. I mean, I've had lots of conversations in the last few weeks with big and small energy companies about the fact that the reduced cost of renewables is not yet reflected in our power bills, partly because we're still paying a lot of subsidies through our power bills for the fossil fuel industry.
Oh, is that why?
They get the vast majority. The vast majority goes to nuclear and fossil fuels. Tiny piddling percentage. Well, now none. They're now building these offshore wind farms. No subsidies whatsoever.
I mean, that just seems very, very weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Immoral.
it is kind of wrong, isn't it? But anyway, that's the end of that story. What are the other things that we should mention? Well, obviously the new webpage, Fully Charged Regen, which is where this podcast can also be heard, not seen, but heard on YouTube. So there's a new channel called Fully Charged Regen. We've just launched it today. It's only got one video on, but we're uploading all the old podcasts onto it. So there is actually a lot of stuff appearing on that.
Because apparently people want to watch podcasts as well as
listen to them. I think people listen. I know. I mean, my daughter listens to music on YouTube very often.
Does she?
As in, like, it's music videos, but she's not watching them. She's just listening. It's on in the background. When she made a cake last summer, she had some music on. I don't know what it was.
Well, there you go. So you'll be able to listen to podcasts via YouTube, should you want. We'll upload the whole archive soon. Yeah,
well, it's nearly done. I think Ben's nearly done all of them.
Yeah. His broadband is sweating as we speak.
It is. And that's about it, really, isn't it?
So, thank you very much for listening, as always. And if you don't already subscribe to this, it'd be lovely if you did. I've really enjoyed this.
No, it's been lovely. Thank you very much, Jonny.
I've not done this for about 3 or 4 weeks. It feels
we'll do more. It's good fun, and we're doing a live one in Dundee.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've got to talk about that. Dundee, it clashes with everything, but we're going to Dundee on the 10th of June. July. If it was the 10th of June, we've already been. 10th of July.
Okay. All right.
And that's it. So from myself, Robert Llewellyn, and the lovely and delightful Jonny Smith, it is thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Just thanks for listening, really.
So I'm now going. Let's chink glasses across the airwaves.
Yes. Ready?
Cheers, everyone. Have a lovely week.
Oh, I feel it feels starting to feel finally very summery.
Yeah.
Very summery. I sounded a bit like Rick Stein then. I don't know why. I just don't understand why people don't eat mussels and cockles for breakfast. They're just so nutritious and they're so plentifully available.
I've run out.
I'm going to stop the tape.